Good afternoon, guys. It's Danny at Partay. So, a couple of things on the agenda today. I'm going to show you a couple of displays. One of them, I'm going to go ahead and start with Mr. Luminous and making good on my promise. Now, let me explain real quick to those who may be new why I'm doing this, okay? And this will eventually come to an end because I got bigger things to do, but I want to put enough information out there. And I look for these to see where he tries to pull the wool over people's eyes. Because what I'm looking at here is an individual. And the reason specifically, you notice I haven't done this with anyone else out there. I have no intention to. It's not in my nature to do this with people. The reason that I selected this guy specifically, and there was a lot of struggle between me and I had conversation with my wife and my partner and things like that. But I've come across people out here who have been bamboozled by this guy. And he puts himself out there as a professional. Now, the first thing is his acumen. Okay. His acumen is not business professional at all. He doesn't understand the language of projection. He makes up his own terms. You'll hear at the very beginning, he'll say, creator of, blah, 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 gain times two. But now on some of the things, he's got gain times three. And it's all meaningless. There is no such thing out there. Okay. But outside of that, he tries to give people this perception that these areas are extraordinarily bright. But yet, as a professional, he does no measurement system. That would be like you taking your car into someone and saying it's making a knocking noise, them looking at it and saying, well, I tell you what, I think it's the transmission. Let's just go ahead. I'll trade out the transmission and we'll see if that fixes it. You're not going to spend that kind of money on getting something like that done if you don't feel comfortable that the people know what they're talking about. And if you do, then afterwards, who are you going to be pissed at? You're going to be ticked at the guy who told you bad information because they didn't know their business. And that's what you're looking at here. This guy talks about how there's so much light coming in through his windows. For one, he's got shades up. I've got louvers in my window, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But there's about an 8 to 12 foot wall coming right here. Or 8 to 12 inches, that's coming right here. That keeps that light from directly hitting because it's inset. Right? So that light isn't really making its way over to the screen. You're getting some ambient, a little bit of ambient right here, but it's relatively nominal. When you do a lux measurement, and that's the reason you want to measure, right? Because you don't want to guess. The point is not to guess. And he could be very, very easily show you that this is not that much light. But he doesn't want to do that because he needs to show you that it is. No different than the LEDs that he's running up here. And we've already shown the LEDs really don't affect the image very much at all. As a matter of fact, I would have to wonder the reason why this is cascading as far the LEDs are cascading as far as down the image as they are or on a screen is because it's probably got more of a satin finish, which is kind of a no-no when you're going to try to use these things in light anyway. So it just, the whole thing doesn't hold water. It never does. But on a simple front, I want to really touch on one other thing here. So I'm going to pause. Okay, so number next. He sways back over, and he's done this a few times in the past, where he talks about his condensed lighting. Once again, it's not condensed lighting. Condensed lighting is when you liquid cool photons to the point that they merge. This is recessed lighting, either a halogen or some kind of LED, right? So it's not condensed lighting. Once again, a term that if he was a professional, he would not use because he knows that that's not a true term, okay? We don't use buzzwords in professional circles whenever you're talking to customers. You may use them internally, but not when you're talking to customers. But he tries to say that even with this light over his projector, it's doing such a great job. You don't point out things that have no impact. That would be like me saying there's a bunch of straw on the ground and it's going to affect your tires. It's not. Your tires are going to roll over the straw because, it's much weaker and it's not really going to have any impact on your tire unless there's a nail in there. That's a whole different category, right? But I'm going to show you why this has no impact, but yet he likes to bring that up as a point of attention to show you just how bright, how much light he's using. And it's just staged. Okay, this is all lies and staged. So I'm going to show you. Hold on just a second. All right, guys, so we're back. Now I've picked a very light image with a little bit of color nuance in here just to show you. And I've got side and front facing light coming in on the screen. Now if I close my screen off, or close, you can see just how much light is actually hitting that, right? And that's all coming directly from there and from the front, not just from the side. And I don't have a wall in between here to stop that light or to bounce some of that light away. So all that light's hitting. You can see just how much, especially off the silver, how much it's glowing off the silver. And I'll go back to the image here, right? So there you go. Now this is silver screen. This is the Contra White, this is the Sirius, and this is the Contra Bright. Okay, so it's kind of a silvery screen too, but not as silver as the actual silver. And then the one that it's sitting on top of, guys, this is the Daystar formula, the original Daystar formula. But I want you to look at something here. I've got an 800 lumen lamp directly at the projector. Okay, you see that? I'm going to turn it off. No impact. See that? No impact. I'm going to turn it back on. Do you see any change there? None whatsoever. I'm going to go even further and turn it so it's shining directly at the lens. There you go, directly at the lens. See that? I'm going to turn it off. Any impact? Back on. Off. No impact, guys. So once again, it's a stage thing, right? It's a stage. Now look at this series, because he's doing it on a black screen. It's not blue. It's not dim. It's a very bright screen, even in all this light. Great flesh tones. Now keep in mind, and I hate saying that because I know he says it 1,000 times in his videos, but you know, thing to keep in mind here is that this is a very, very light screen. This is a white screen, and that's how well it holds up compared to those. Now they wash out in this kind of light, but those aren't really designed for this kind of light. Those are designed for small amounts of ambient light in controlled spaces. That's what they're designed for. This is designed for high ambient light. This is designed for high ambient light. So you get the full gist there. And if I turn that off again and come over here, you can see without the light cascading the difference in those. Silver, white, black, and a lighter gray. A little lighter than the Daystar. So, you know, all I'm putting these videos out there is that's one, right? That's a definitive, that's a factual lie that light impacts your image. He's using a 4,000 lumen projector, 1080. This is a 2,500 lumen projector, 720. Not so much an argument about resolution. What I'm saying is this has less lumens and still holds the image with that light, no impact. How much do you think that little 200 to 400 lumen light above his projector really impacts the 4,000 lumens coming from the source? It doesn't. And that's the kind of things that you guys need to be aware of. So you can see, when I see those kind of things, I know he's lying to people. He's trying to give them a false perception of how projection works. And it's not true. It's just not true. We proved it right here. And if you don't believe me, do it to your projector at home. Now, if you've got a 200 lumen projector, it may impact it. But if you're using anything 1,000 or above, it's not going to have an impact, guys. So just more information for your pocket. Hope you guys have a great day, and you guys take care. Bye.